Hi everyone, I'm Martin and welcome to another great edition of Astronomy for Beginners, and today I'm going to show you some more modifications which you can do to this IOptron mount. This is basically the Smart EQ Pro, and basically this is a portable EQ mount with a built-in polar scope, go-to computer facilities, and it has an ST4 lead which you can do auto guiding, particularly for imaging long exposures of deep sky objects. It's a very ultra portable package, and as I mentioned before in my video guys on how to modify it, you can do a lot with this mount. You just need to do a few tweaks now and again to improve on the tripod, the rigidity and all that, and you'll have a very sound portable system which you can do with small devices, like telescopes and cameras. Yes, it has had a few minor glitches, but if you refer to my other video guide on the IOptron on improving it, you can go a long way for such a good setup. Now, through this video guide I'm going to demonstrate to you guys and girls of how to update this firmware on your handset. And this is the handset we got here, and it's the GOTO Nova handset. Very good, very easy to use. In fact, I think it's easier than the Skywatcher SynScout, and that is saying something. But it's got similar sort of setups, but it does have a few extra stuff on there, like able to use it as able to find position of Polaris through this handset. The only bad thing is it doesn't have a GPS system, so you can't update it exactly where you are in the night sky, what location. But obviously I looked into improving it even further, and believe it or not, you have to order a cable. Now, for some strange reason, you cannot get this cable with this mount. Basically, I ordered this telescope service. This is around about £20 to pay for this cable. It sounds a lot, I know, I totally agree, but it did cost for the posting as well on top, because obviously it's a retailer from Germany. I had to order it from Germany. Now, I don't know why IOptron haven't supplied this cable with this mount. I don't understand that. But I know with the Skywatcher ones, you do actually get this cable for free. But for some strange reason with IOptron, they don't. So you have to buy the extra cable, the extra attachment for it to work. And what this cable will do is it will enable you to connect it to the handset and then connect it to the laptop. And basically what this cable can do, it will enable you to update the firmware on the handset, or any other software issues relating to the mount. You can update the program here. Also, this cable, as well as once it's connected to the handset, you can actually use this cable to control the telescope via your computer, which is particularly handy if you want to do a setup outside and you want to stay indoors and you control the telescope through your computer. And again, as I mentioned before in my other guide on how to use the Skywatcher mount, I basically use a program called Stellarium, which is a very good planisphere program software, which I can use not only to locate stars and planets, galaxies and nebulas. I can program with this cable, control the mount, able to pinpoint and basically click on what I want to view or want to image. So it's a very, very useful setup, and this cable will enable you to do exactly the same for the IOptron mounts. So what we're going to do now, we're going to take a closer look at the cable itself and compare it to the Skywatcher one. So we take a closer look at this cable. This is the R232 cable. This is the old connection that a lot of old computers are connected, but basically you can still convert it to a USB using a USB adapter. And again, just make sure when you do that is install the software for that cable as well. However, I just need to highlight something. Right, it looks very similar to like some of the Skywatcher ones, but unfortunately it's not. So with the IOptron cable, as you can see here, this is a 4-pin coupling. It's an RJ9, but it has 4 pins. Alright, so it's very it's, as you can see here, there's not much connections here, but if you look on the Skywatcher one, being a grey cable, but if you look at the RJN there, it has 6 pins. So as you can see there, if you have got a Skywatcher and you was going to use it on the IOptron mount, I would not recommend to connect a Skywatcher R232 connection onto the IOptron mount. So don't think that you're going to use a Skywatcher one onto this mount. It's not possible. So unfortunately you have to purchase the IOptron one, I'm afraid. So, and again, the actual box it came through, to order that is if you go online to Telescope Service, that's the number 84112. So you could order this cable. Now I'm sure if you ask Tring Astronomy or Alto Astro, they'd be able to order the cable for you. But again, I only purchased this quickly because at Telescope Service it was already available. So if you want this cable, you can either order it through Telescope Service or see Tring Astronomy, and they'll be able to get you they'll be able to get you this cable. So I'm now going to show you what drivers you're going to need and the software you're going to need to run the IOptron mount. So first off, what we're going to do is we click on, so we click on here, and you're looking for a website called Standards for Astronomy, which is the SCOM. This is the main SCOM driver that you're going to need to use with the Stellarium program. At the moment you download on the latest platform, which is 6.2. You click on there to download. This will take a little time to download. So now it's downloading SCOM. So you update the SCOM. So click on yes. Okay, it will then ask you to install the software. So you click on install. Now the last driver was a 6.1 SP1. This is the brand new one now, which will work for a variety of equipment, for a variety of mounts, and this will install that straight onto Stellarium. There you go, that's installed the SCOM platform 6.2. Click on there to finish. You then try and find the web page, IOptron SCOM driver. Now there are a series of pages where you can download the SCOM driver, but personally I will actually go to the official IOptron website. And this is the IOptron website, and here what I found that yes, you can download the actual software directly for the Smart EQ mount and the Pro. However, I find that can be a bit confusing. So what I do is I click on the menu called Products. I go to the German equatorial mounts, and then I go to the Smart EQ Portable GOTO mount. This will help you define if you've got the correct mount. So with that is the mount we're after, and what we do is, as you scroll down, click on supported documents. This will give you the recommended SCOM driver for that mount. And as you see here, you will be able to download the latest firmware, and you can download the SCOM drivers that's needed. So we're going to click on the SCOM driver 3.11. And as you can see here is the latest updates for that mount. So we click on 2013 V3, which is one of the latest updates. This will now upload it. Click on Run. Click Yes. It'll give you the installation software menus. So you click on Accept the agreement, click Next, then Install and continue with the installation. Okay, click Finish. It'll give you a bit of information on how to do the latest updates. So click off that. So that now leaves the software for the IOptron data to be installed onto your computer. So now we're going to activate another program. This is Stellarium Scope. If you click onto this web page here, Stellarium Scope, basically this is an EQ mod to control your IOptron mount via Stellarium. Can be quite useful, but as you look up below here, it'll give you the latest update, but there is another website that will give you the latest update to the Welsh Dragon Computing. So if you click on that link there, it will then give you to their website, and then if you select Scope and then go down to download Stellarium Scope, you then scroll down and then you go to the latest driver, which is Set Up Stellarium Scope WD. Click on that. That will now download. You then click on Run. It'll then give you the menu. You click Next, accept the agreement, click Next again. You want it onto the Stellarium Scope in the programs list, so just click Next. You want it to go into the Stellarium folder, just click Next, and you want to create the icon, click Next. Install.
Right, we don't want to launch Stellarium GOTO as yet, so we take that off and then we click finish. So that's now all our drivers updated. So now what we're going to do is we're going to basically shut down the computer and restart it, and basically get the drivers working.
Before you do any firmware updates or connecting the lead to the computer so you can use it to control Stellarium, the first thing you do need to check is check the actual handset itself, because there is two different types. There's an 8400 and there is an 8408. The only way you can indicate that you've got the right handset, believe it or not, is if you check at the back, you will see there is a label. Basically, what that tells you, that this handset here is an 8408. Now, if you haven't got this handset, you cannot perform the firmware update or the GOTO function. So if you have got an 8408, you can do this function and you can use this setup, control the computer and do firmware updates. So that is something you need to check first. Once you're happy you got the 8408, you basically switch the mount off like so, switch it off. So to connect the cable to the telescope is relatively easy. All you got to do is grab your handset, you go to Nova handset, and as you can see here, there is a little slot. Basically with that slot, using the IOptron cable, you then clip it on like so till it clicks. You then get your serial R232 cable, connection cable, like so, and basically you align the pins like so. That'll be your cable connection. You then grab your laptop and then you connect it to a serial port like so. Okay, that is now the cable installed with your mount. Basically what you're going to do is you're going to, providing that you've got all your drivers, Stellarium, as I mentioned before on there, once they're installed, you then switch on the mount. Okay, your handset will be on, okay, and basically you will do your star alignment. So you carry out your normal star alignment as normal as you're going to set up your mount. Okay, so now what we're going to do, we're going to proceed further how to run Stellarium and the programs together so that you can use this mount, control the computer, use Stellarium, and basically click and point at any target you want to go to.
So once you connect the IOptron 84112 lead, to check your COM port on your computer, usually you have indicating of a beep will let you know that it's connected. And to check the COM port, you basically, because I'm using Windows 10, it's slightly different to compare to Windows 8 and 7. So basically to find it, I basically highlight my folders, I go to this PC, I right click, click on properties, go up to device manager, and then here's my list of all my drivers and my setup. And basically what I'm trying to do is check my COM port, and this is my USB to serial COM port. Basically, if you take note of COM4, that is my COM port of my lead to my telescope. So remember COM4. Now this depends on your computer, you may have different ports, but here I'm just here to show you how you can find it through Windows 10. So now I've located my COM port, I'll then proceed further. So now we've got the EQ mount connected to the computer. We're now going to open up IOptron Commander. Now usually this is set to COM port 4, so basically this lead is connected up, but however we're going to go to select auto detection and we click OK. That basically now gives us the function to operate our axes on our mount through our computer. So that now confirms that this lead works. So we minimize that. We then go on to Stellarium. At the moment I'm setting up during the day. This is my current location and where we're at. So basically I go into configuration window, I select plugins, I scroll down to telescope control, I highlight the load at startup, press configure, I then select the telescopes tab, I then go into add. Now at the moment, because of this, there is a slight bug on this Stellarium program. Basically if I scroll down here I can't change COM port. Especially if I click onto this software, because we're using external software, I can't change it. So basically I select it onto Stellarium first, we click on the name tab and we're going to call it Smart EQ Pro. So that is our mount. Now at the moment we are scrolling down, we select the use field of indicators and we click on 2 is a decent size. We click OK, and that basically gives us our Smart EQ Pro control. So again, once we've set up our Smart EQ Pro, we scroll down and we select our port. Now because of the bug, we have to scroll, obviously we have to go up to Stellarium and we then select external software, and that will be the setting, and then that should be you set up now. Now ignore all these lot, we don't want to confuse you. So then we cancel that, and we cancel that, and we cancel out of Stellarium. So we're on Stellarium scope. You scroll down the terms and conditions and read them. You click on so you've understood it. Now we're going to, for some sort of reason it's locked onto this straight away, so we're going to minimize that. Basically I'm going to show you how to set up Stellarium scope. So basically you select the mount, you click on this menu, you highlight the IOptron SCOM driver, you click OK. You then click on the small box connect. You then click on auto start with Stellarium. So that every time you open up Stellarium, you will get that control working. You then highlight the Smart EQ Pro name. Once you're happy with that, you then update the Stellarium configuration. Click on yes, agree to all these terms, yes, yes. This will open up Stellarium. Now as we scroll up, you can see now we've got Smart EQ Pro. That is now basically where our telescope is pointing at, where the mount's positioned. So basically, as you can see, it's up north, pointing to Polaris, because it's polar aligned. We then, because it's set up during the day, we can't see the stars. We scroll down to the menu. We select constellation lines and we select the names of the constellations. We then scroll along to atmosphere. We're going to adjust the atmosphere so we can see the stars. Now because it's polar aligned, the telescope is now pointing at Polaris. As you can see, it's already working lovely. And what we're going to do is we are going to select an object we want to see. So we're going to highlight at the bottom, and it basically pops up all the deep sky objects we want to view. So for instance, as we scroll along, we say like we want to go to Andromeda. So we zoom in, and there's Andromeda Galaxy. So we've got Andromeda Galaxy here, and that's where, see the position of the target sign, that's where the telescope's pointing at. So to operate the system, all we do is once we've got that Andromeda Galaxy highlighted in that box, all we do is press Control and 1. And basically what will happen now is that the telescope will now slew towards Andromeda. You will then get an audible beep, and that will indicate now that the mount's moved over to Andromeda, and you should be able to see it through your camera or your eyepiece. It just shows you how easy it is. And as you can see there, a click of a button, we're on Andromeda Galaxy. Simple. Now be aware to switch on your Wi-Fi or your internet on to ensure that you're getting the correct up-to-date information. Now I've got the program working and all that, I just need to highlight a few things. First off, when you first use your mount, do your polar alignment on the mount, and also do your 1-star or 2-star alignment on this mount. Once you've done your alignment, you need to click on Stellarium scope. Okay. Okay, you scroll down there. Now, as you can see, with the program with the slight falls, I've noticed that when you start using Stellarium, you'll get this pop-up screen, and the problem is though with this is that you can't, usually it should start up and you'll be able to see the telescope reticle on Stellarium. So one thing I found out is you minimise that, you get out of Stellarium, you select the mount, which is still indicated, you connect to the mount. You then take off to auto start with Stellarium every time, and then click on Stellarium again. So you basically reboot it again, and then do your settings. Okay, now we've got a reticle now on the telescope. Alright, that's polar aligned. So now this is running perfectly. I just had to highlight that because when I was first using it, I noticed when I was starting up Stellarium, it didn't work. And when I booted up the actual program for Stellarium Scope, it booted up straight away to Stellarium and the function wasn't aligned properly. So again, if you minimise that and say that you cancel all that, you get out of that system, right, you start up Stellarium Scope first. Again, it is a bit fiddly at first, but then you come out of that, you then check your IOptron, yeah, it's already set, and you click on connect. The good thing is now, we've now set it so it doesn't auto start straight away to Stellarium, and it is a bit of a bug, but I thought I'd highlight that. Once you're happy you've connected to it, you then start Stellarium, and again do our settings, and there we go, we've got our reticle now back on. I just need to highlight that because it is a slight bug. So once you're happy with your star alignment, all you've got to do is, it's that easy. We go to Elephant's Trunk Nebula, for example, and then basically Control and 1. And as you can see, straight away the mount will now slow to the target. And as you can see, so easy to do. It's like almost like child's play. So the purpose of updating your firmware on your handset is to update for any bugs that's on the mount, or anything you get any running problems, or you could have a potential problem where you have done something with a handset and it crashes, which does occasionally happen from time to time, particularly if your batteries are running slow or they're quite low. Then you may get the point where the actual handset may crash. So you do these updates so that you keep up to date, make sure that your mount moves accurately, performs well to the standard, plus it will probably eliminate some of the niggle bits on the handset where a certain thing or menu you select
and basically it might crash, or there is something where something just freezes up. So this is the reason why you keep up to date with your firmware, so that your mount and your handset will run smoothly, and that is the purpose of updating the firmware. And again, it's same for the Skywatchers, they also need to be updated quite regularly. Also with firmware updates, they even with IOptron, they may add a few extras on top of it. In other words, you may get your polar alignment much accurately, there may be a polar align function, there'll be other series of other things which a firmware can actually do. So as well as fixes bugs or faults within the mount or the handset, they can also do updates by adding extra optional things like database, for example, may increase a certain amount of objects into your database, or there'll be an additional extra on top of that. So it is very crucial that you check every month online on the IOptron online and check for any updates for this mount. So basically what I'm going to do now is give you an in-depth on how to carry out a firmware update. So we'll take a closer look from here. Switch the mount off like so, switch it off and connect your 84112 lead into the slot. Also, the HBX cable is connected, but is remained switched off. With the computer, this cable here is connected to my USB lead, and it's directly to my computer.
So, with everything set up, we're going to visit IOptron website and go to your exact mount, Smart EQ Pro mount. As you scroll down, this go to supported documents, and basically you want to upload the latest firmware. You will have a menu screen. Before you can do a firmware update, you must upgrade to utility 1.22. You click run, and basically what this is a firmware downloader, and it's quite easy. You collect, as I mentioned before about the COM port, we remembered it was COM port 4. So then what we're going to do, so we now got our firmware downloader. We basically now update the firmware. That is now finished downloading. We now go to our downloaded page, and we need to find our file. So we copy that from our download page, that is the file. We can then paste it on there, or we can browse. So again, scroll down to your downloaded bit, that is the firmware. That is now the firmware highlighted, and then you upgrade.
So before you hit the upgrade button on the computer, you hold down the enter key. Whilst holding the enter key, you switch on the mount. Once you've done that, you will have a screen saying handle upgrade, please wait. Let go of the enter key. So now you've done the firmware, you then press back. So that includes my video guide on how to update the firmware and the IOptron cable so you can power it through Stellarium, through your IOptron mount. One important things you've got to consider when you use Stellarium, when you activate it, before you use your mount and use it to control it through the computer, is make sure you do your star alignment first. Also, another thing, one thing I have noticed is make sure that you update your Stellarium. Now I was running 0.12, I had a bit of running problems, but I've now updated to 0.114 and it's now working properly. As I mentioned before, do your 2-star alignment on the scope, because if you use Stellarium, the pointing accuracy might be slightly out. So just make sure that you do your alignment first. I hope it's gives you some really good information on how to use your IOptron. It is slightly different compared to the Skywatchers, but the more I use this mount, the more I'm starting to get familiarised on its controls. It seems to be a lot easier than the Skywatcher ones. I'm starting to love this mount really much, and it really is an awesome little mount, and some of the things I'm using, it's very practical, it's quite impressive. So again, thanks for watching my video guide. Please feel free to comment on my video, and again, please try out the firmware update and also try out the Stellarium control. Believe me, it's very handy, useful feature, and as you can see, as it operates, it is quite impressive. So really, it is worth doing that extra bit just to get it all set up and try it yourself. And you know, if you find it's easier, do that process. But again, there's nothing wrong with just using the handset alone. I can't agree more. It is very reliable and very effective. But again, using the Stellarium control will make it a lot easier for users. So when you do want to take great images, or you're just going to use it for visual use, that's what you want to use it for. Using Stellarium will also, at certain parts of the sky, if they're quite low or they're quite high up in the sky, it's always best to get objects that are quite high up in the sky, because it's a lot less of the atmosphere that interferes with the deep sky objects, because they are quite faint, you know. So ideally get objects at the highest point as possible. So again, that's what that Stellarium will enable you to do, is able to locate objects you want to view or image and get a good possible image or good view from that object. So again, very nice function. That concludes my video guide. Thanks for watching, and please feel free to comment and look forward to my next video guide. So again, thanks for watching, and clear skies to you all.